So I'm Dan.
And I'm Nick, folks.
And together we form
this crazy dynamo
known as the
Unpanderers. No, sir, we don't pander.
Yeah, especially not to younger viewers.
If you're under 18, please get your waiver signed and come back.
Yeah, go listen to some tinier podcast that doesn't care. We care.
Also, if you're an employer, you cannot use this podcast against me, please. Only because it's for infotainment.
Yeah, it's for fun.
Entertainment purposes only, I believe it's called.
Yeah, nothing can be used against us in a court of law.
So what would you say we do here again?
We like to fit in the groove and just flow. Burst out in conversation.
Let it rip. A couple of old friends just going over some really interesting stuff. So why don't you tune in?
Enjoy.
Thanks, folks.
So it's us. We're here.
That's both of us?
Yeah.
The intro's over.
Yep.
We're good to go.
We are totally set. We're 100% go.
We're in the episode.
We are in here together.
Episode 47-ish.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. Oh, hold on. I got to do my last touch.
I need that.
Everyone wonders how I get that beautiful windswept look.
Windswept?
That's it.
Windswept?
My old windswept look. Yeah, that's correct.
Slash. It's a combination. It's like...
Just slept on it. / wind just hit it. Mm-hmm. It's a windswept look. Wasn't a mistake of the tongue. It was perfect.
It's fantastic.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. We'll spend a little time outside. I'm a little red.
You do look a little red. That's what I thought. I wasn't sure. Pigmentation, something going on. That's fine.
I set up a series of mirrors so that I could step outside for 2 seconds and get a suntan.
That's a lot of mirrors.
Yeah, you have to sprint through it. Otherwise, you start to burn.
That's how telescopes work, you know. I'm sure you do.
On a Fresnel lens.
Ooh.
Smarter.
And a series of mirrors.
Yeah.
Wow. Just knowledge just bursting through in here.
Feel it.
I'd like to welcome you all. Today we're talking about jobs.
Work and careers.
Oh, cool. I have one of them.
Yeah, I think most of us do.
Everyone has a work or career or job.
Wish we had a stat on that. How many people
I actually
have
found on Wikipedia 91.9% of people have jobs.
Really? That's quite a lot, actually.
Uh-huh. Even if that job is being a girlfriend, being a boyfriend, being a son, a bitch, a mother, a child, or a lover. A sinner or a saint. That's as far as I remember.
Meredith something?
I thought it was Alanis Morissette, but you could be absolutely correct.
We'll have to come back with a clarification or correction from this time.
Do you have one from the last episode?
From the Underdog episode.
I actually did, and I lost it. I wrote it down on something.
That's a shame.
It's a damn shame. It was something like the whole episode was wrong.
No, I think it was right.
Detail. Yeah, it was one detail. I thought it was.
It was glorious.
It may have been about the Miracle Mets in 1914. Had a lot of write-ins where people were very angry at me.
I hope they're mailing you letters and you're opening them up with a very delicate letter opener, only to find one already in the envelope covered in blood.
A letter opener in a letter?
Yeah.
Can you mail a letter opener? I guess you could. That'd be pretty cool.
At what point does that become a knife?
Some of them are crazy.
I know. My dad had one that was like golden and looked like it was
ornate.
A little pirate thing.
Yeah, that's too hardcore for me.
But it wasn't sharp, so it's like I ended up breaking it. Sorry, Pop.
You broke it?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, dude. That's probably a hand-me-down. Fighting what? Dragons?
Probably pieces of wood.
Someone named Mike?
He's probably involved. I don't doubt it.
I figure he was.
Let's get to the exciting topic of jobs. Let's talk about the beginning. The very beginning.
I was stretching out my back, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's what I was really doing.
What kind of high school jobs did you have?
Do you want to hear my first job ever?
Yeah, I do.
My dad worked at place we work now. Look it up. A&E, I don't care. Look it up.
American Eagle.
We own it. And I remember He didn't own it. He just worked there. He started work there when he was 16. It was a piano place, right? They repaired pianos there. It's called Burger Piano or something. And my dad lived a block away, and he was walking by, and they were moving pianos, and said, "Hey, kid, do you need a job? Help us move these pianos." So he moved pianos, I believe, or helped move. Maybe it wasn't the pianos, but helped tear down the shop because they were moving everything out.
Okay.
And the new guys who were moving in were two Polish brothers, and they were like, "Hey, good job moving stuff out. Do you want to work here?" He was like, "Okay." And he worked there, and he's been working there since that day. It was his first job and his last job so far.
Wow.
Not a lot of people in America like that, right?
No.
And he owns it, everything now, yeah. The brothers actually lent my dad the money to buy his first house, just straight up.
That's awesome.
Right? They charged him a little interest, but it was like 2% or something.
Almost nothing.
He couldn't have got that from a bank, right?
No, especially at that time.
Yeah, so that's awesome. But anyway, my dad's working there his whole. By the time I was like 5 or 6 or 7, I can't remember. He would work half a day Saturday, and like once in a while, I would go in with him and just like carry gallons of stuff and put it on the shelf. And he would pay me $5 every Saturday.
Nice.
Do you know what I would do with that $5? And my dad was always really mad at me, but I could tell he was trying to teach me a lesson, but allowing me to have freedom. And I didn't realize this till maybe this episode right now.
Pack of Swisher Sweets.
Really close. A pack of Flair X-Men cards.
Oh.
I used to buy X-Men cards, and they were $5 a pack. So after a full day of work, me getting my palms all sweaty and dirty and carrying 8 to 9 to 10 gallons for a full day, put them on the shelf, I would go and buy X-Men cards. My dad would probably shake his head and go, "Oh my God." He would always be like, "Why don't you just save it? Save your money." And I was like, "Nope, I need X-Men cards, Dad. I need to know who Wolverine's going to win." And that was my first job, $5 every Saturday.
So you need
not
to,
every,
you
but
need
like
to
every.
scope it. Like, do you have like an allowance? You have anything that like your parents would constantly give you for chores or anything?
Yeah, that was $5 a week. That was bogus.
I got $5 a week for doing almost nothing. I'll just say
I did almost
just
nothing.
to respect my parents.
Okay, cool.
Take out the trash, Dad. I was like,
do I have to?
Take some effort.
No, we'll do it for you. Thanks. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Slip it under the door. I see that fiver. No, but middle class.
What'd you do with your fiver? Did you hold on to it?
Oh yeah, no. So
I heard this story.
I squirreled it away. That's part of my saver story. I squirreled everything away. So I got $5 a week. I save it. I saved it till it was like $800 something, and then I bought Super Nintendo. Yep, and a Sega Genesis at the same time.
I knew it. This came up in a previous episode and it drove me insane.
Yeah.
You saved up to buy both.
Especially like as summer was coming, right out of school.
Hold on. And then on top of that, when you popped in a video game into your one of your systems you saved up for, you would play the game and save up all your money to the end of the level and buy all the potions and extra swords and stuff. So you were saving everywhere.
Exactly. I lived the game like I lived my life.
You sure
very
did.
frivolously. I'd hit, restart. Like, I didn't save that penny. I gotta restart, play through it.
I gotta get back there and play through it.
Yeah. Plus, I had like an old TV, like a really, really old TV, and then a new TV, so I could literally play both games at the same time.
Wow. You can't. You couldn't play both games at the same time, though.
I mean, the controllers. You can hold the controllers in either hand. Sega Genesis has all the buttons on like the one side.
I remember ABC.
Dialogues. Right? The dialogues, you just hit ABC. And then same thing with the NES. If you're going through dialogues.
Wait, it was Super NES, right? So that was like XYA.
Yeah, actually.
And L1R1 kind of? Mm-hmm. Yeah, right?
Yep. I wasn't a fan of action games because I couldn't play them both at the same time.
My God. I think we've already covered enough to give a lot of psychologists a lot of work today.
Yeah, I got some problems.
Yeah, so do I.
So middle class, I don't know. Right? Both of us, I think.
Yeah, I'm middle class. Lower middle class. I'm not middle class like some people here.
I'm strongly middle. Strong middle, maybe a little up. Little upper.
That's all right. Take it.
I don't know what the definition of upper middle class is. It's probably not what I think it is.
Pulled it up. Let's go by Wiki. I close that? What? Oh, no, here it is.
Okay, maybe not. No, between 100,000 and 350,000. So
maybe, and it depends on the year too. This changes year to year. You might be looking at 2018's definition. You know what I'm saying?
This is So
yeah, exactly. It changes year to year.
I mean, it's upper middle class back then, probably. I don't know exactly how much my parents made, but I bet it was in that range.
Oh, damn. I forget. My dad told me what his paychecks were. Was it $75 a week?
That's not very much. What are you talking about when he first started?
He was 16, so what is he, 1975 or something?
You should have done cost adjusted.
I could be wrong. Maybe it was 175.
1979?
Yeah. No, 75-ish.
Calculate the value of $4,000 in 1979. It would be $15,000 a year in today's money.
It could be. 16-year-old? I don't know.
I mean,
it could be wrong, too.
Minimum wage. Minimum wage is like $7.55 federal, I think.
$7.25.
$7.25.
Yeah, it's actually lower than you thought. So here, hold on. Can you go? I know we brought it up. We didn't actually answer the question. What's your first real job?
First real job?
Actual job. Yeah.
Like long term?
Did you have to get working papers?
Working paper. We did, yeah. I
don't know. Do they still do that? I have no idea.
I think if you're under 16,
18, you won't be doing
15.
anytime.
Is it under 18?
It's probably 18 because I think I was 16 when I had the job and I had to get working papers.
I already had a car, so I must have been 16 at least. So my first job, I was paid real money for was running networking cable in an office building. For the entire job, I got like $3,000, and it was running like a couple hundred lines. So it was really exhausting, and it took like a month.
What did you actually do? You physically did you have to use ladders and stuff and go through the building? And,
It was like raised ceilings, so it was like 12 feet tall. So
I know.
Point A to point B.
Drop ceiling. Drop ceiling. Now, what about when you got to a wall? Did you have to drill behind a wall and stuff, or was there holes
there? There was no walls. Like, this was completely gutted. They were making a brand new building.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Look at you, computer guy.
That's exactly how I bought my first real computer, because I had that money and it went right into the computer.
Do you know what you bought? I'm really interested in this. I know that sounds nerdy.
I have the case behind my desk, but it has.
Is it an IBM or something? Or
no, I built it myself, because that was how you could maximize how much money you could spend.
You built a computer at that age?
Yeah.
Jeez, you used to be smart. What happened?
It drifts off over time. Boys and girls, you better be an entrepreneur early in life because it's not going to last.
No, that's I did not know that. That's pretty badass. I just built my first computer at 31 or something, and I was scared the whole time I did it.
Oh yeah, no, I did.
And I had YouTube videos. So how did you do it?
I don't know actually. I think I put it all together because it fits together a certain way. And then when I turned it on, I forgot something, so it beep, and I was like,
just screaming at you.
Like I got all sweaty and nervous, like this thing isn't gonna work anymore. I just spent $2,000 on this
thing. A lot of money. I'm gonna kill myself.
But it was just the thermal grease between the processor and the
paste.
motherboard.
The paste. Yeah, a little thermal paste, baby.
It knows immediately whether you're an amateur or not.
Wait,
amateur. I was like,
back then. Rookie. So I worked at Freddie Hill Farms.
Oh, I remember that. Free ice cream from Freddie Hill. Get your peanuts here.
Peanuts or sprinkles? Peanuts or sprinkles, sir? Did you say sprinkles?
Because I wanted the peanuts.
Yeah. That was a funny little joke we would play. I made $4.75 an hour during training, which was 2 weeks long.
Wow. Wait, what?
Hold on. There's a reason. So I figured this out. No, not at all. And then it was $5.25 hourly wage.
That was the minimum. $5.25.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And the only reason you can get away with $4.75 is if you called something a training period. But what's crazy is you're trained after like one session. It was scooping ice cream. It was always 2 weeks. You trained for 2 weeks.
Huh. I don't think I ever had a training period in any of my jobs. I worked at Target as a cashier. I made $6.25 after a raise.
Ooh, big baller.
Which is the most boring job you could possibly do. And you're not supposed to move around. Like, you're supposed to like make sure that you don't have any customers and then not talk to any of the other cashiers and stay in the same box.
Cashier to this day is one of the worst jobs.
Yeah. My heart goes out to every cashier that's just sitting there mind-numbingly scanning things. It's brutal. You can't really make conversation with people because it's only like
no. And there's the worst is places that have a line, like a wawa or something like that.
People are just tapping their feet, getting agitated, and you feel bad.
Yeah, and it's almost like they're angry at the cashier for not going faster.
Even
it's
though
like they've probably been doing this for.
Who does that now?
Has anyone written a check at a wawa? Respond in the comments below.
69 cents. Let me just give me a second. You have that slow tear.
I need this gum. I got a hot date.
So that was terrible.
Oh, this is the wrong flavor. Yeah.
Let me go back. Can you exchange it for me? And the cashier's just like...
The funny thing about my first job at Freddie Hill was that everyone worked there. And I don't know if everyone worked there and I became friends with everyone, or the cool thing about it being minimum wage job and within walking distance of me burping.
Yep, that's fantastic.
Was that I could get there, and so could all these other young people, because it was only people who were 16 to 18.
Yeah, it's like a Rita's Water Ice almost.
Yeah, a little bit. And there was always the drama. There was love lines. There were storylines. There was like relationships. There were friendships. There were triangles, squares, pentagons. You name it. And in a way, it was the worst job I ever had, but one of the best. And we started actually hanging out near Freddie Hill because you could always, and no matter who was working, you knew them, and they were going to give you free ice cream. They were like, "It's Nick," you know what I mean? And I'd be like, "Yeah." So like you could get something free, you could hang out, like you've owned the place. It was a little bit like, "Hey, you're going to pay me minimum wage. This is a shitty job, but guess what? I'm going to abuse the system."
Yeah, you couldn't do any of that at Target. It was terrible. You couldn't make friends with people because you weren't allowed to talk to them. And
that sucks. That's a corporation right there.
Yep, corporate life. And people do that for a living, which is surprising. Considering
we are going to get back to it. We're going to come back.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we are. Let's move on to any other jobs that were interesting or weird. Did you ever serve?
Yes. Well, I'll talk about the Hollywood Video one. Was the one I did a Hollywood Video stint at the same time I did the Target one. So I'd go back and forth because I was trying to rake in the cash. Oh, like $150 a week. There's no way you become rich doing that at all. That's the stupidest thing. I should have never worked. That's worthless. But yeah, the Hollywood Video one was much better because you get free rentals and you also had cool people to talk to with similar interest.
Right, like they were all about.
Yeah, I could have hung out with those people, but I'm an introvert.
Were they older?
Shy. Some of them were, but their attitudes were actually like teenager-ish, even though they're like mid-20s.
I can see that.
So like, a lot of those people probably, I could hang out with them, watch a movie, and there's like,
and good movies, obviously, ahead of time movies, free movies. What's crazy is there's always girls that work at those type places too, that are attractive. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah,
they don't even. What's crazy is I know it's like a meme or a popular joke or it's like overdone. They check out these muscles. I started working out last week.
Everybody fantastic!
Yeah, I thought so. Where's my definition? I thought I was getting definition by today, but maybe not.
40 pounds a child being lifted.
Anyway,
talking about my body trying to lift me out of bed.
40 pounds of child.
Pure child.
Childish man. No, but damn.
Too good a joke.
Some attractive women. Oh, how some people watching this video, whether it's current millennials, I think are we millennials? I forget.
Yeah, we are technically. We're on the fringe.
That's such bull crap.
We're not really.
We are. We're like in between millennials and X's or something.
We're a little older.
Anyway, there are people who literally have no idea what it's like to have a store that rents
videos and video games. Because Hollywood Video went out of business while we were in college. So like 3 years later, Hollywood Video didn't exist.
Well, was Blockbuster the OG, the big one?
I love that somebody, like some big mega corporate conglomerate bought Hollywood Video like 2 years after I worked there for like $1 billion. And then like 2 years later,
this and it was out.
It's gone. They just lost $2 billion. Like, oh my god!
I wish I knew. Now we could mock them unless they're still popular.
It's almost like Media Play, like places that sold CDs. FYE, all those places. Like Suncoast, was it?
Could be Suncoast Video bought a lot of things. They were pretty big.
No, it was something media.
Viacom.
Yeah.
It wasn't. This is the second episode. I used Viacom as an answer. That's pretty good niche use of Viacom right there.
Yeah, and my pay was exactly the same in both of those jobs. So I was fine. I was like, can I please leave this Target job to go work at the other one? Because it's I sit on the counter, talk to people, suggest movies.
So I worked as a server. And there's something we always said. I worked at Border Cafe, which is the best Mexican Tex-Mex hybrid like food place you can go to in like the East Coast. I want to say I think there's 3 of them.
Wow, that's big. Big.
No, there's like that's what I'm giving it. There's like 3 of them in the United States, or there were when I worked. They could have expanded. They could have all folded because they suck.
Huh.
But working in a restaurant was awesome.
I would agree with you. In college, I worked at a Pizza Hut, which is the easiest one to take and
now,
to deliver.
What did you do at the Pizza Hut-ish?
Everything, because everyone there was a degenerate and they're so lazy.
So, hold on. Were people like getting high at work?
Oh, probably. They went out back. I don't know what they did. I was straight laced at that point.
Okay.
It's my freshman
So
year.
you don't know. Okay.
I knew people were doing stuff because they were not acting normal.
Okay. People were acting loopy, etc. So wait, you're answering the phone?
Mm-hmm. Answer the phone, take orders.
Place the order. What about delivering? You didn't deliver, or
I
you did?
I did that at the same time I was doing it, being a waiter. In certain cases, I was doing everything.
So they say delivery people see some weird stuff. See anything odd?
No, suburbs.
Nothing too crazy?
No, but you'd make a lot of money as a delivery driver, actually. It'd be like, I would make, as a waiter, you know this, you're a tipped employee, so you make what, like 2 something? It was like
it's like $2.95 or $2.55, some weird dumbass
small amount of money. And with tips, it was probably more like $10.
Hold on.
An hour.
There's something I didn't realize. So I hope the government's listening. Please, government, be listening to me. So I worked as a restaurant guy. Your tips are all cash, almost all cash.
Yep.
The way our restaurant did it is they you put everything into the computer. It said what you owed for every meal, and I owed for every meal. I didn't have to put my money into a register at all. And then credit cards took off of that number because credit cards go right into the computer system. So at the end of the night, if I had 40 people I served or 20 people I served and tips, etc., they expected a number from me. So it would be like, you owe $298
to put on
$473. Well, hold on. No. Just I owed the restaurant for the meals. I didn't pay for the meals at all. So anytime, like, they ordered $70 worth of food and they tipped me $15, right? I take $85, I put it in my pocket, and that's it. I move on to the next table. Blah, 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 blah.
They give you
all this is recorded in the computer. Right. So whatever the difference is, I keep. They don't know.
Yeah.
And any credit card knocks the number down because, credit card goes right against the number. Anyway, at the end of the night, they'd be like, you owe $830. And I'd have like $1,000 of cash in my pocket or something. I'm exaggerating, or maybe I'm right. I can't remember. So I give them their number, and I keep everything else. Could be $100, could be $40, could be $300. Who the hell knows? Depends what kind of night I had. And always, the managers were always like, what do you declare for the night, tips-wise? Keep in mind, you only have to declare 10% of what you made or what you handed in. And I would always say, and I was like, and I would tell them the real number, right, of what my tips.
Yeah.
Hold on, I didn't understand this.
Oh,
and they were like, and they repeated the question. They were always like, you only have to declare 10%. And I was like, yeah, $380. I'm like, okay. And they would write it down. So I did this for like a month and a half, 2 months. Finally, I was like, damn, why do they act so weird? And he's like, what do you tell them? And I'm like, I tell them what I really make. And he's like, you're an idiot. And this is my friend Dan, who worked with me. He's like, just tell them 10%. I don't know. Whatever the hell the number is. Just lie to them. So I started lying after that. So we're good.
Because it gets reported back to the federal government, and they want a portion of those tips because that's your income.
So they got me for like 6 weeks. Congrats, IRS. Suck me off. Okay?
Yeah, I would only record the stuff that was on the credit card transactions because the cash could never be traced.
They said the credit card transactions always had to be recorded, but because it was all lump figure,
Yeah. And I think 10% is the low portion of the minimum wage. So it's like required by law to put to be taxed 10% over a certain income level. And then you're probably meeting that. So probably
I got stiffed one time. If you get stiffed, you have to pay for the meal.
I've never had people stiff me.
Yes.
They never sprinted out of the restaurant or not pay. Or I've never had it. That's terrible, though. How much did the $100 meal that ruins like your?
No, it was only at $60, but like, I mean, where am I now? You had to pay for the meal, but my manager was like really nice that night, and she liked me, so she was like, "We'll cover the meal, but you're getting a tip, obviously." I was like, "Okay, thank you." Like, so I mean, it was kind of cool, but like if that happened all the time, they'd be like, "You're fishy." Hold on. Some weird shit happens in a Mexican Tex-Mex restaurant that's visible on I-95. Okay,
talking about
it's a big blue sign,
front room,
everywhere. Hold on. So it's a big blue sign that says "Eat." It's off 95. People come here from all walks of life because it's a main thoroughfare off I-95. Just everyone comes. My buddy Dan, one of my best friends from college, he worked there when I was in college. So he's working one night and they're closing. And I think a guy came in at like 9:50 on a night where they closed at 10. And he comes in and everyone's like,
looking a little disheveled, a little out of it.
He looked weird, right? But at the same time, you want to close down. You're ready to shut the kitchen down, everything.
Oh, yeah.
He ordered a steak, something else.
Oh, that takes too long to fry. And cook that thing up takes 10, 15 minutes at least.
So hold on. This guy's weird. He's acting shady. Everyone's keeping an eye on him. Now everyone in the restaurant's going except for him. He's hunched over in a trench coat, like just sitting over his plate, waiting for his meal. Well, he starts eating the steak, and he gets up and walks to the bathroom. It's my buddy Dan's table now. So he walks up, and he's like, the manager is like, "Yo, that weird dude, he just walked to the bathroom. I don't know where he's going. I don't know what he's doing." He came out of the bathroom with his trench coat covering his whole body and was like, "Yo, buddy, people know me. I'm the cutter. People call me the cutter." And Dan was like,
"Oh my God.
I just want to know if you're done with your meal. We gotta check this out with the meal.
I'm the best.
I gotta get my manager." And he goes over and he tells his manager when they came back, like, this guy was gone. And he only ate 3 bites of his steak and he didn't pay for anything. And to this day, no one knows what he was talking about. Like, he's the cutter. I'm the cutter. People call me the cutter. Like, what kind of cutter? The what? He was gone.
Huh.
So my other buddy, Wild Bill, who was there that night, had another night where he's working, one of the last shifts, real heavy set couple. I'm talking like 400 pounds each.
Mm-hmm.
They order their crap. They do whatever.
They sit on the same side of the booth.
No. They order their food. They do their thing. Whatever. I don't know. Guy disappeared for a little bit and maybe go in the bathroom. I don't know. He comes back. They paid. They tipped. Everything was fine. At the end of the night, you have to check, like, make sure everything's good, right? Silverware, roll-ups. Make sure there's no food on the floor. You don't want any kind of animals. And then you check the bathroom. Checks the bathroom. Oh my God. And he comes to the manager. He says, "Manager, I think that big guy, I think he pooped." And he said, "Disgusting. Just flush it." He said, "I did. It won't go down."
Oh.
And we had the commercial toilets, like the big ones.
Boyardee can.
Oh, the whole one. So the manager came in and tried to flush it, and he couldn't flush it. And no one could flush it. So you know what comes next?
Broom.
Poop knife. You got to use a poop knife, dude. You got to grab that bad boy and stab that poop until it gets cut in 2, 3, 4 pieces. No. Oh,
that was the worst job in the restaurant.
I think it is. Well, the manager had to help him because it was, it's like his shift.
It's a sanitary thing. They don't give you anything like gloves. They don't protect you from that poo splash.
I could tell you stories, just restaurant stories are some of the best because they're
so earthly. Everyone has meals. Everyone has like friends. And the way people interact in restaurants is just bizarre.
Oh, it's different.
Yeah,
it's different. Especially one that serves alcohol. We served alcohol, so it helps. It lightens it makes everyone crazy. They had famous margaritas or whatever. We had like 15 different kinds of margaritas. One night I had a table of 11 women. Older women. I'm talking like 40 plus. That's my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And I'm flirting with them. I'm having fun. I'm laughing. It was like a $300 tab, and they left me like, I want to say $100. which is way over, but like, you know, it was a big night, like whatever. So an hour goes by and I thought, holy crap, dude, did they give me too much? I'm looking at my stuff. I'm going over my numbers. She came back in the doorway an hour later, the main woman, and she was like, Nick, I think we made a mistake. And I was like, yeah. And I'm like thinking,
the tip.
It gave me too much. And she handed me $40 more and said, I hope we left enough. And I said, no, you're good. And she said, take this. This was the best night of tips of my life. I didn't have to dance, take off my clothes, nothing. Like $140 on
You
one
danced
table.
verbally, though, I bet.
I probably did. And I love those ladies. Like, if I saw that, oh, man, I would give them a lap dance. A clothed lap dance. I love them.
My age range is opposite of yours, not by preference.
Oh, no.
It was a table of probably like 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds.
Jared combo. Go ahead.
Yeah. So they paid for their meal, and they gave me a little bit of tip. A surprising tip for like 12 or 13-year-olds.
Right. If they do good, that's surprising.
They left a note on the table that said, like, my name's Taylor, call me at, and then, like, this is my number. And I was like, what the heck? So I was reading it, and as I was reading it, I hear giggling, and it was like they sat in the corner booth. I look up, and they're waiting outside the corner window, and they're all laughing at me. They're all like, hey.
Love that, dude.
It was the cutest thing I've ever seen, and no, I did not call them. Just to clarify. I saved
now they're 22. Let's give them all.
Yeah. I saved that number until they were 18.
Mm-hmm.
What about people that, like, at the time I was going to school, I graduated with an engineering degree. So I had people that were like, they knew I was going to college, and they're like, here's a little extra so you can take care of yourself at school.
Yeah. They do that. That's a real thing.
And the weird thing was that it was a woman. It was a girl. I think she was like in her 20s, and her mom. And it was towards the end of my period there. But in the beginning, they always came as a triplet with a guy who I guess was dating the girl. So towards the end, I think the mom was trying to push her on me and me on her.
He gone, son.
But they only tipped me an extra $10, and I was like, this ain't gonna help.
College paid for.
Done.
Thanks, sweetheart.
Yeah. Thanks. But I appreciate it a little bit.
The only thing I'll wrap up restaurant talk with is that actually, can I do two things? I want to tell the story about so we had real flame. There were these like candles that were in these glass boxes that were all around. It made it look like it was. No. They were like around the restaurant. They were like 8 feet high or whatever, but they made it look like they were real lamps. You know what I mean? Like you were out to a Mexican restaurant.
Not a real flame, though.
No, it was a real flame. It was encased in, I think there was a propane
gas
line right, that went into it from behind.
Gotcha.
No big deal.
Okay.
So I've seen these things for like 7 weeks, 10 weeks, 13 weeks, but I never had to open because my shifts were always late in the day. So one day I'm opening on a Saturday because I had off, and I was like, I can make extra money, whatever. And they're like, Nick, like the things. And I was like, I never did it. And they're like, it's pretty easy. They showed me the first one. They're like, there's 3 panes of glass. Well, hold on. There's 3 panes of glass, right? 1, 2, 3. And in the back, it's open. You can just we give you a lighter and you light it. You gotta make sure the gas turns on. Light it. Easy. Uh-huh. So I said, this is
pretty easy.
Stupid easy. I brought a chair. 1, I did 2, I did 3, I did 4. So I get to like the 5th one. There's only like 8 in the whole place. I get on my chair. I turned on the gas line, just like I did on all of them. Mm-hmm. And I reach around the back, and I was like, what the flying hell? I was like, it's glass at the back. I was like, all the others are open at the back. So I tried the left. It's got glass. I tried the front. It's got glass. I tried the right. It's got glass. I'm thinking, yo, this one's glass all over. And they're like, the glass thing slide out, idiot. And I was like, well, how do you do it? And they were like, just pick it up, slide it out, and it comes out. And I was like, and I just put it back? Yeah, put it back. I was like, that's pretty easy. Mm-hmm. All right. Slide it up. It's been like 2 minutes now. This glass box is filled with propane because I left the line on the whole time. And I slid it up and I just went, light. And the boom, this fireball goes. It singed my eyebrows, my hair right here, and knocked me off the chair. And I was like, oh my God, did anyone see that? And everyone was like, are you okay? And I was like, Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
I can smell burnt hair all over my arm. Man, I felt like a real a-hole.
I like when that happens because I don't have to shave. Really furry,
That's true.
Furry forearms.
You shave your forearms?
Well, I mean, they get pretty bushy. I don't know if you have that.
You know what you're talking about?
This is after a fresh shave.
You shave your forearms?
No, just a trim. Not a full shave.
Anyway, sorry. What I wanted to do is wrap up restaurant talk with. From when I worked there on,
so much going on.
A, I got really good at tipping. B, anytime I pulled up to a red light now, from now on, it still affects me to this day. I'll pull up to a red light. I'm looking at the car next to me, and the guy's revving his engine. I'm like, this guy's an asshole. Looks like he tips pretty good, though. Leave him be. And then sometimes I pull up to a red light, and I look over, and I'm like, you tip like 10% exact. You suck. And it's weird. I break people into those two groups now. And I never did that before I worked there. And it's hard to explain who I think does and who doesn't. It's weird.
It really limits whether you really do like backbreaking work for somebody, because you see people that you think, you're a table of 10 and you're doing everything and you're helping them. The kid drops something. You're like, oh, here, pick it up.
I got it. Yeah, here. Oh, oh my God. I'll get that in a second. You want ketchup? That's great. I asked you earlier, but you want ketchup now? Okay, I got you.
Shitty tipper.
Yeah, that's worse.
It narrows your range of the view of the human race.
And it's weird because you also don't know during the meal who's going to be a shitter tipper.
Yeah.
So you're helping them like super. You're like, oh, I got you. Yeah, I got you, bro. And then at the end, you're like, fucking
piece of shit. I'm going to break that sucker up in the toilet. Oh, man. The one thing about the waiter jobs is that they actually paid you cash. Like having cash in your pocket, like a wad of cash, you feel that and you notice it and you want to do something with it. It's hard not to do because like you have to go to the bank and deposit it. What? Like, no, that doesn't make sense.
Any job that deals with cash is a different type of job.
So you can actually feel money increasing.
Mm-hmm. You do.
It's not like having it go to your bank account where it's just a number. The number just changes. You're just like, whatever.
Right. 100% agree. Now, what would you say about those? Those are jobs, not career, usually.
Definitely, because you don't increase your worth over time. If you have knowledge or something that can be put back into the job, you get paid more for it, that's a career.
Well, I don't have a career, but I'm working towards one now. You're talking to a guy who just put together a beautiful resume. I put together, you guys should see it. It's gorgeous. It has all these keywords. It's got this. It's got that. It's got buzzwords. It's got pop. It's a beautiful format. It's gorgeous. It's got my name in bold here. It's got my LinkedIn profile. I really think we get hired any second.
Huh. So where are you putting it?
Merck. You ever heard of it?
Yeah. Chemical company.
Anyway, I'm just hoping I get hired before they see any of my videos or find my Twitter or find anything I do. They need anyway.
So, like ZipRecruiter, have you heard of ZipRecruiter before?
Yeah, I know what ZipRecruiter is.
So
I've never used it or been attached to it at all, but
that's my routine when I go to the bathroom. I just boop, 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 apply to all these different jobs, and none of them ever respond. I think in the beginning, I actually got responses because they didn't have like a background on me. But now I think they like know who I am, and they're like, I don't trust you. I don't know if it's this video, but there's probably a company out there that will like do a background check and like pull up all ridiculous stuff that you've done. Oh, he said that he really loves beep, 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 beep. And then it's like,
what? Oh. What is BBB? Beautiful women with blue eyeshadow.
Yeah.
We can't have this guy here. So hold on. What with ZipRecruiter, that I thought that was the opposite. I thought that was an employer tool for attracting employees, not the other way around.
How is that any different than applying to a job? An employer
wants somebody to hire. Employer tool. Oh, I guess both parties have to use it.
Yeah. The ZipRecruiter just have like 1,000 different jobs, but I think you get marginalized because the amount of people that probably apply versus there's probably people that are pure bullshit that make them sound fantastic. You're never going to climb through the bullshit to get
right. So hold on. Let's talk about professional jobs because I don't have one technically. Mm-hmm.
So let's ask. Why don't you have one? Is the question. So you went to college. You picked a degree based on what?
I had biology, and I figured being a bio major, working for Merck was okay, but So I really wanted to write for the Flyers, if we were to be honest.
What did you graduate with?
English journalism.
So why biology?
Oh, because I was good at biology. Originally. And I took a year and a half of biology. I did all the courses. The only hard one was organic chem. That was a bitch.
It's difficult.
Let me tell you that. I should have just stuck with it and got the degree, because then I can get a job doing whatever. But
I agree with you.
Well, I might hate.
Were you aware of that at the time? As most 18-year-olds probably pick a major randomly.
No, I mean, and then I thought, because I'm also a really good writer. It doesn't show when I do a podcast or you ask me to do a transcript for something, but I could write like a mother. I have the only 10 in a class Dan was in. He knows. He still thinks about it.
10 doesn't exist. He's full of shit.
Anyway, I thought, damn, if I could write for like the Flyers or the Eagles or something really cool, like that's what I wanted to do. Be a reporter that was like always with the team and doing fluff pieces and writing a big story about how it's epic. It changed the history. It changed everything. Maybe write a book, like maybe a piece on someone who's dying, who's like the greatest player of all time. Like that's what I wanted to do with my life. Until I realized that everyone and their mother does writing for free now, and it's on the goddamn internet. So I wasted my goddamn time.
Marginalized. I have a friend who does exactly that for the Houston Chronicle. And
do they like it, or
they like it because they're like a little bit like you. They're a pure writer. Okay. They just like writing, but they only make probably like 40, maybe 50. So it's like she's working hard too, and it's like
you better hope the hell your paper doesn't go under. Every paper's friggin'. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean you got to be at the prime one, and I think she is. But to make real money, you have to be either like New York or LA. And then everything in between is kind of questionable. Right.
It's a weird thing and a stupid decision on my part. And my parents decided to help me out with my first semester of college. Mm-hmm. Everything else is on me. So I signed up for 3.5 years of out-of-state tuition.
Yeah. So the financial aspect was not even on your mind. You weren't projecting
I was
far enough in the future.
Who the hell cared? I was like, everyone's signing up for this. Yeah. Let's do it.
You're only allowed to drink when you're 21, but you can make the most financial impact negatively on yourself at 18.
Let's see.
It's terrible.
It's been 10 years. It was a 17-year payoff issue.
And you can't go bankrupt because you still have to pay it in bankruptcy.
Really? I didn't think of it. I've been paying nonstop not to get depressed.
I could feel the sadness in your voice.
I know, right? Just dropping a little bit. Quick shout out Sally Mae. If everyone works there died, I'd feel really bad.
Ombudsman.
I did get that parents off that cosign. So shout out.
That's all it took.
But anyway, I think a lot of people. I just read an article yesterday. Apparently, do you do the Google News thing?
Yeah. I looked at the feed and I swiped a little bit to the far side, and then it shows me everything that Google recommends. I read, right. And I do.
Most of it's pretty good.
I trust you, Google. I have faith in you.
I throw a lot of my searches in you.
I'm gonna
one of my search results is always student loan debt, and I'm like, I haven't Googled that in like 8 years. Why do you keep bringing it up? But I'm always interested in the story. I'm like, I haven't Googled that. What is this? And I just read one today that said, I think this generation, like the ones that just come out of college now, are in more debt than anyone ever before.
No, that makes sense because college
numbers have gone
ridiculous.
And it's not, and the worth is going down, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, most people, if they didn't get a prime degree, then they're stuck doing a job where they pay very little, 30 or 40K, which you could have gotten doing
not college. Yeah, not getting the loan, not getting that loan.
So I guess
which is crazy.
It is crazy. What's the end goal? It's like you
for who?
For anybody.
The individual who goes to college.
Who's going to college who's trying to make money, trying to get money, get more time.
Well, there's two lines of thought. I went to a prestigious high school that told me higher education was always better. And I do, in my heart of hearts, I actually believe that more education is better. Mm-hmm. But what I will say is the money that I paid for my higher education, probably not worth it. I could have gotten that just doing podcasts on each subject and prepping before each podcast.
Probably.
And talking about it.
But now
this is different. We should open this as a college.
We'll teach you how every topic works.
Yeah.
But this didn't exist when we started college. Like knowledge about the outside world and other people's perspective, zero.
No, it did change. Yeah, I actually think the college bubble will burst.
I think it will too. I think there'll be some sort of online certified course will destroy the knowledge base of colleges, and then they won't.
Do you think it'll be a conversation kind of piece that two professors could adhere?
Professors of podcastorial knowledge?
I don't know. You're onto something. Like podcast geniuses.
Yeah.
Could teach you professorial knowledge for a price. You can come on the show for a price, folks. You heard it here first. You can be an unpanderite. Once you graduate unpanderite, you're guaranteed to get a job somewhere. We can't tell you where, but for the right price, it's probably worth it. And we're not pandering.
So you've insinuated that you have a job and it doesn't pay what you want. You didn't say what it is exactly. You need to define it right now for the viewers.
Which one? My job now?
Yeah.
I'm a deliveryman.
Person, yeah. Not to be sexist. You sexist pig.
Deliveryman. If you say min, deliveryman, because man is different. Deliveryman. Deliveryman. I deliver things. I do sales calls. I buy things. I don't know. I move boxes all day. It's a family thing. But I'm helping with a family business that's not doing too well. I figure without me, it puts a lot of pressure on someone I'm related to. That's my father.
That's tough.
Hard. It would physically hurt him, I think. Like he would have to move twice as many boxes at his age. And
that's another thing we talk about.
Right, physical labor.
So like that first job I had was doing wiring. Like it was exhausting. I'd come home and I'd be beat. Same thing with being a cashier and standing up all the time. Like
no one talks about that. Just because you don't move doesn't mean it's not hard work.
Yeah, it's hard. So you can only do that really for maybe 10, 15 years before it really starts to drag on you. And a lot of people make decent money doing, like I could have done the networking wiring thing until I'm this age. And then at this point,
have been
I'd be cooked. I wouldn't be able to do anything. And I'd be like, well, now I got to go back to school. Now that I haven't used my brain in 15 years.
Right.
How brutal would that be?
Well, I'll put it this way. Not to change subjects, but you're kind of onto it. It's hard for someone who hasn't been in the system at the right time to change careers, to change paths. You're a target cashier for 10 years. Let's say you're a genius. And then you decide, hey, I'm going to get that chemical engineering degree. Well, you really have to pay for it. You really can't go to college to do it because you probably have a kid or something or a wife, or you have to pay your bills. So now you're taking online courses. And then at the end of the online course, you may have a certification. I'm not sure if you do. It doesn't stack up quite as well as someone who's 20, starry-eyed, and willing to work for way less.
Yeah, you have that foolishness that you just will drive through things and expect to pay out, maybe 6 years away if you start college?
Right.
So that just is it doesn't happen for
not as a person who pays bills and stuff,
Especially if you had a family or a girlfriend or a wife or a kid. Like that sort of stuff will there's no way you can pay for that.
They call it the golden handcuffs. So when I first started looking for a different job 6 years ago, and then I kind of stopped, I called a guy who was a headhunter. And he was like, hey, you can get a job doing X, Y, and Z. You can do this, commission, base this. And he told me like all these things I could do. And my head was swimming. And he's like, but you make good money? And I was like, I make good money for what I do. I shouldn't make this much, doing physical labor, et cetera, deliveries. And he was like, well, let me tell you about the golden handcuffs. I was like, whoo, buddy, I don't know you. We're not dating. I don't know what you want to do to me, but are you attractive? I'm talking to you on the phone. I don't know. And he told me, if you're paying X on your mortgage, X on your car payment, X on Netflix, X on, he didn't say Netflix, I'm making this up, but you have payments you do every month. They're based on what you make. let's say you want to change your career. So I want to be a chemical engineer. I mean, all I have to do is work at this shit shop for like 2 years at 30,000, and then I get a bump to 40, and then maybe 50 down the road, and then 60, and then I have room for growth. Mm-hmm. Well, you have to keep in mind, can you afford to take the pay cut for 4 years or 2 years? Mm-hmm. They're called golden handcuffs. I know your job's shittier and doesn't have a big future, but if it pays all your bills and your alternative is less money, what are you going to do about your mortgage? What are you going to do about your car payment? Are you really, you're 39, you're 42, whatever you are. Are you willing to take a pay cut to further your career later in life? Like, it's hard to do that at 40.
Yeah, most people think about the now, and if they can't take care of the now, then what's the point? Like, it's too hard to take on
and
debt.
Here, what if you did start taking on some of the debt and et cetera at 40, and then you found out you got cancer at 45? And wait, and you didn't even finish the schooling. Can you imagine that? And you're like, well, and you already quit the job that was making a little more, but like, now you don't have that job. You not even finished the schooling. You're kind of frigged.
That's frightening. I don't think I could pull that off. I honestly couldn't if I didn't go to school right away.
A weird thing. The other thing to bring up is what we can get into is that I work in poor Black communities. That's where 90% of my deliveries are. It's where my family grew up. It's where everything happens. So when I deliver to places, I have abused women homes that are some of my big customers. There's a place that houses women and children who don't have enough money for housing of their own. Like, that's a big customer of mine. Yeah. When I talk to the people there or that work there, I hear crazy stuff. And I can hardly believe it. Do you know what the poverty line is in Pennsylvania, at least?
I say it's like per individual, it's probably like what, 13,000, 12,000?
They do it by two people. So maybe if you have like 2
15
households, it's 15.5.
That's.
Do you want to know?
I don't know how you live on that.
Hold on. Want to hear something even freaking crazier? So the poverty line is $15,569, right? If you're below that, it's a poverty line. You're poor. Mm-hmm. Do you know what the minimum federal wage is in Pennsylvania? It's $7.25.
So that's about 15,000.
It's 15 even almost. It's like 15.05.
Yeah. So
if you work a minimum wage job for 40 hours a week for a full year, you aren't even meeting the poverty line. If you're working for you and your wife.
Yeah, and I don't even know if you're getting benefits or time off. You probably don't get any of those perks.
So this is even bigger. So I talked to everyone in depth. There are several, if not 8, if not 10, if not 15 programs in Pennsylvania alone of what we call welfare. Everyone can talk about welfare all they want. They have no clue what it really ultimately boils down to. Mm-hmm. They have TANF, which is temporary assist for the needy families. Okay. They give you up to 5 years. They'll give you money, depending on your family situation. There's SNAP, which is literally based on food. It's Supplementary Nutrition Assist Program, right? Okay. That's the one that they'll give you money if you make under a certain amount, and it changes based on your family basis. Uh-huh. They give you a certain amount, and they say, we'll put it on your EBT card, and you have to use that card anywhere that accepts EBT money. Not just anywhere. Like, I don't know if Wawa does. I assume Wawa does. I made Wawa because they're a big corporation.
You can only buy certain things, right?
Correct. Then there's like organizations like liheap, which is
what does that stand for?
Low income home energy assistance program. So during the winter, if you can't afford to heat your own home, they will pay you for heat during months like XYZ. Huh. Like, they may pick the months September, October, November, but it's only on like households that have like a mother and 2 children. And you have to include the social security number of everyone who lives there and include your income. And they figure out if you're worthy of it. Boom, you're good.
How do they even know about this stuff? It's complicated. I don't even know about this.
It's very complicated. And I also deliver to a lot of welfare offices, do their toilet paper and paper towels. And I see, it's crazy. Sometimes you see people who look like they have plenty of money, and there's sometimes people who, like, they got to bring their kids. They're bringing 4 kids to the welfare office because they can't leave them at home. But they need the money, and they're walking here because they don't have a car, and they can't afford insurance. I see crazy stuff. And one time I was talking to a guy outside, and he said, He was on welfare. He was on, I don't know if he was, I don't know which weed was Snap. I don't know. And they gave him, was it $1,000 a month? I don't remember what they gave him a month, but he tried to get a job at like a fast food place, making minimum wage, which we discussed was $7.25. After he worked for 40 hours a week for 4 weeks, he got money for his family because he wanted to get off welfare. He wanted to do his thing. Mm-hmm. He made X dollars. I forget what the exact number was. He told me it was like $1,300. It was $2,100. Maybe it was $400. I honestly can't remember. My brain's not in the math. No, for the month. Okay. For the month, right? That was like $20 lower than his paycheck was from welfare for not working. Like, he said at that point, because taxes come out.
Yeah, there's no point.
He was like this. He was like, I quit the next day. I was done. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you just have to prove that you're trying to apply to new jobs, right?
Exactly. But like, how crazy is that? Like, he's trying to do something here, and he can make more money not working. And I'm not saying you shouldn't give money to people who need the money. I'm saying maybe we should raise the minimum wage because, do you know what? We talked about minimum wage earlier.
Yeah.
How
California is like $11 in California.
Are they up to 11? Good on California. But there's two problems that arise though. One, minimum wage should be raised. Minimum wage jobs like flipping burgers, as they say, which is a pain in the ass job. Cashiers, as they say, which is a pain in the ass job. We just discussed this. They're designed for kids coming out of grade school, getting into the workforce world, getting their feet wet.
Transitional.
Right. What ends up happening is people like 38 have to take that job who have no line of work right now.
Yeah, they're falling down.
They have to try and survive with their family on that job and that pay. And it's like you're kind of effed because that's not even the poverty line. But on the other hand, if you paid everyone who flipped burgers, I'm giving that example, I don't look down on that.
Incentivize
$15 an hour. Let's say minimum wage is $15 an hour now, right? That'd be a good number, right?
Everything else would raise up.
Well, yeah. I mean, now you got to pay a worker $15 an hour to do your menial work. You've lost all your profits, so all businesses will go out of business.
Yeah, they should probably incentivize people to become more educated, and then maybe they'll get more educated jobs. But again,
unless the goddamn education costs you $40,000 a year.
That's true.
It's a weird mix. I don't know the answer. I'm not trying to claim the answer. I just know I work in the poor communities and I see some weird stuff.
Let's recap the some of those assistance programs because people might. It's like if you go to usa.gov/benefits.
Did you go to Pennsylvania?
No, I didn't click.
I mean, whatever. We'll do USA. That's fine. We'll do USA.
TANF is the Welfare or Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. You got the SNAP, which was what was it? Was it
Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program?
Okay, you got the liheap, which was the something
low income home energy assistance program.
And then there's CHIP. There's Children's Health Insurance Program.
Mm-hmm.
So like those four things are going to help somebody out. And if they happen to fall upon this podcast and listen to those things, go to usa.gov/benefits because that could help you immensely.
I would think. If you didn't know beforehand, please know now.
Yeah. And I mean, you get stuck in this weird cycle where you can't benefit from anything you do. Really, honestly, it's
not at all.
It's the system's telling you just to stop doing anything because it's most beneficial just to make the amount of money you need to at the moment.
I heard a real depressing tweet today. I didn't hear it because I didn't read it out loud, but I saw it. Do you know how most old people, like 78 and older, are like conservative, Republican, and they're always like grouchy and whatever have you? The average, right?
Yep.
It's because poor people who are usually Democratic and liberal don't live to that old. I thought that's not true. And then I was like, I don't know.
They have poor health insurance, so they'll die before they even reach Social Security age.
They have poor lives in general, right?
Yeah, I did read that like heart issues are more prevalent in the African American community.
Oh, hell yeah. Because listen, if you can go to, I almost said Wendy's, but Checkers and buy a burger for $2 and then fries and a drink is like $4, $5, as opposed to spending $8 on the raw materials and actually spending an hour cooking them, yeah, I'm going to buy the cheaper stuff too. It's unhealthier. But
I mean, you've always been behind somebody in the checkout line that is buying ridiculous junk food because it's cheap.
Cheap. It is.
Extremely cheap. And it
is.
Probably is not nutritional. It's probably not great for your health. But you don't feel hungry. So if you're going to spend money on something, you might as well get as many calories out of it as possible.
Right.
You heard of government
system.
cheese?
Yeah, government cheese is a real thing. My
cheese.
friend's dad used to make fun of it all the time. He'd be like, yeah, Nick's family gets government cheese. And I was always like, I don't know what that is. It's probably a jerk racist, but
I don't even know the guy, but I'm sure.
No, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. Although he did. He's the funniest guy in the world. I could do a whole episode on him.
Let's go back to it.
All right, never mind.
Let's talk about averages, like incomes by state. So median household income.
I didn't look this up at all. Go ahead.
I like this stuff. So, like Pennsylvania, the median household income is $55,000.
Is that couples or just household?
Household. So I mean,
that's pretty low. That's pretty low.
Yeah, I feel the same thing. Texas is literally right behind it by like $100, $50.
Huh.
So it's a weird thing because I earn more than that as an individual.
Right. Not to mention household. Right.
Yeah. So it's like you try to think about how life would be if you had your salary cut back to that, your household income cut back to that. And I don't think it would work. Like I think I would need assistance in my current life, or I'd have to downgrade to something that just doesn't seem imaginable.
Right. Change your car, change your house, change your mortgage, change what you buy at grocery store. It changes everything.
Yeah. It's a ripple effect that would go through my entire life.
100%.
And then I looked at like what percentile people are in if they're making a certain amount. And this is individual. So if you're right at 50%, right in the middle of the entire economy, you're making about $38,000.
In what? The United States?
In the United States.
That's the 50% line?
Yep. It's right in the middle. But that includes some people. There's about, about 7% of people making less than $3,500. So that's probably like, maybe so they include children and people.
Right. People who aren't working. Okay.
Staying at home.
That's still crazy.
That's still very low.
All right, hold on. What's the top 1% in America? I have the number in front of me, actually. I'm looking at it.
I don't know if that number's reliable. I'll say the top 5%.
This is 2018. Oh, okay. What's the top 5?
It's about $150,000.
Weird. I have 167,000.
So it's a little higher than what I said.
Sure. I mean, mine's 2018 by Wikipedia, so who knows how
it's 2017, reliable it's. So maybe inflation.
Okay. So hold on. So top 1.5% make $250,000 and up.
That's just insane. It's insane to think that you could make in 10 years enough to retire.
Yeah, hold on. So the bottom 10%, make $0 to $10,500.
Yep.
Is there a top 10%? There's not.
My top 10% is $110,000.
So top 10% makes 10 times as much, almost exactly, than the bottom 10%.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's pretty.
It's a huge gap.
It is. We'll say the gap isn't getting better. Before we get super depressed, because I feel like we're going down a road where we just keep saying sad numbers.
Yeah.
I do want to say I brought something back for this week because it's kind of special to our hearts. You may remember. It's one of our big things. We're bringing it back this week. It's really important. It's the Celebrity Challenge.
We haven't had a Celebrity Challenge in a long time.
I know. And this one's really important because it involves the children.
Oh.
So real quick, everyone at home knows there's two things that are really big in Hollywood and the media right now.
Uh-huh.
You want to hear them?
Sure.
Everyone knows it's Axl Rose with the new Guns N' Roses album that came out. Sure. Come on, Dildan. Dildan, tell us about it. Come on, man. He's good.
He's going to pop on.
Oh, he's so good. He's probably like chomping at the bit. And number 2, Zach Braff is making a big comeback with his new hit show, Podcasting. Well, that's not the name of the show, but it's about podcasts.
Oh.
I'm calling it what I'm calling it. I have no clue what it's called, but He has a whole new sitcom about podcasting. I think it got canceled, but it was pretty good.
Oh, it's not even showing up when you search for his name.
Zach, how do you spell it? I mean, that's a hell of a word. Zach Braff. Anyway, I want to challenge them to clean toilets. Sounds gross, right?
Who can clean it the most, the best?
Hold on, no. Who can clean them at CHOP, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia? We're going to do it for the children, and we're going to raise money. We're going to raise up to $100. We will match whoever wins, and we actually will be the teammate for each of you. You can pick whether you want Axel or you want Zach. I think I want Zach because he's a real good guy.
Yeah, and we're going to do a bacterial swab, and whoever has the least amount of bacteria is the winner.
Wins?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like that.
I think that's reasonable.
It is. So if Axel or Zach gets back to our camp,
I think Zach has an advantage because he was on a medically oriented show called Scrubs.
He does, but Axel has been dealing with shitholes for years. You know what I mean?
Talk about a bunch of assholes.
Oh, Jesus.
Inside and out.
So, we'll see how it works, but that's the shout-out Celebrity Challenge today. And that was a pick-me-up. So let's get back to jobs, but we can sum it up by saying minimum wage is not for adults, and it has become for adults.
Yeah, let's talk about the top percent, because everyone loves them, right?
I like the 1%. I actually am friends with most of the 1%. There's 8,000 of them in my state alone, and I'm friends with all of them.
So here's my awesome fact. It comes through via Reddit. It's on our Reddit page. On
Reddit's never been wrong. Or the serial killer thing. Have you heard that yet?
No.
Came out today.
What serial killer thing? Jack the Ripper?
There's an AI thing designed to read. I think they forced it to watch people dying.
Oh, no. I saw some stuff like that.
And hold on. So then they gave it Rorschach tests and stuff afterwards. And it was strictly a Reddit thing. And it said it saw, this is someone dying of gunshot wound. This is someone being stabbed in a dough machine. Or this is someone getting murdered by their friend. And the AI was forced to look at all this stuff in Reddit, and it became a psychopath. So shout out Reddit. You build the best psychopaths. I mean, you do other stuff good too. Yeah. I'm not saying don't, but I mean, that's pretty good. That's something.
Yeah. They provided me with this awesome fact.
Go ahead. What's the fact?
LeBron James, who's probably one of the most wealthiest of basketball players.
Oh, basketball player. Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
When he was 18, he was offered $10 million by Reebok to take a deal.
Uh-huh.
And he said, no, I'm probably going to make more money later.
Yes, he did.
Cocky 18-year-old. He made $90 million with Nike. Imagine making that much money in a deal early on.
So, Allen Iverson, you can look this one up.
He did a long-term deal, didn't he? Save him.
He did. He might still be making money from someone. And it was 15 years removed where he was bankrupt. But that was a genius move on his part. Which I know.
Yeah, that's in a previous episode. You need to rewind all the way back to episode number. We'll fill this in later.
Watch all the episodes. Yeah, cover all your bases.
Yep.
Just rewatch. You'll figure it out, folks. You're smart. You're smart people. And that's why we love you. I've been getting a lot of mail from them recently. It's someone spraying, I guess, perfume onto pieces of paper and sending them to me. I mean, that's kind of sexy. And there's something that looks like blood all over it with the note, you'll never find her. So, I don't know. Either way, keep sending your mail. I do appreciate it. It's kind of cool.
Did it have a letter opener in it?
No, it said letter opener broken at the bottom. Someone broke it. You know who. And I think maybe it was your mail? Do you think they sent it to the wrong person?
Wrong address in a different state?
Yeah.
Addressed to somebody else? Wow. Mm-hmm. That's so similar. It's strange. Unbelievably strange.
What are the chances?
So I have a would you rather.
Please do.
And it comes from the Flaming Lips. They have a song, yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So if you could make everyone else poor while you make yourself rich, could you do it? What about you doing no work while giving all the work that you do have to somebody else? You force them to do everything. Couldn't do it?
I'm not a money guy.
That's interesting. Because I listen to a whole bunch of podcasts on entrepreneurs, on how I built this with Guy Raz. he goes through, he started 2 years ago, How I Built This, NPR. And he talks about almost nothing, actually. He lets the entrepreneurs talk about it. He went through a bunch of people that are surprising. And I'm kind of curious which one I want to talk about first. I'll talk about the one that's the most interesting, I say. As this guy, Tony Tsai, he's the one who started Zappos. I guess everyone knows about Zappos, right?
Yeah, sure.
And he defined himself as like a really like deep introvert. And he ended up making like almost $1 billion off of Zappos and combining things.
Did he sell Zappos or he still has it?
I think he still has a stake in it.
Okay. He didn't sell it off entirely.
No, well, I think he sold it off, but like remained. I forget who was
majority holder. Badass.
He sold it to Microsoft, but it was instead of being incorporated in Microsoft, he was allowed to make it his own entity and remain independent while making $260 million or something off of the Microsoft deal.
Not bad.
I found him interesting because he was atypical. Because he defined his business as like most people would say they're the tallest tree in the forest. They're the entrepreneur. They're the CEO. Like they look up to the tallest tree. He said, "That's not my company. I'm the greenhouse. I'm the structure that built the greenhouse, and all the plants inside of it are my employees. Like I'm gonna build this so that other people can thrive and they can be in the showcase. And he was very different because he doesn't seem like he cares about wealth, and most of the entrepreneurs don't. They become really wealthy, they sell their business, and then they'll say, "I'm going to live the American dream," which is what you go vacation on a beach somewhere in Mexico, like maybe like Zihuatanejo.
Whoa, shirt drop.
Yeah. And
is that a custom shirt or something?
It could be. It's from a famous film.
We should sell custom shirts. God damn it. It's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about it.
I know it's from a famous film. I'm very familiar. Yeah, I know exactly what that beach is.
Shawshank Redemption.
I guess say it. You're right. You
chop it.
I don't know.
You're right. Yeah, some people don't know. So
you're right. You're absolutely correct.
A lot of these entrepreneurs, they make a whole bunch of money. And the way they talk about it, they're like, I think it was like, 20, 10 million? I can't remember. And they're talking to somebody like, yeah, something right. And it's like, to us, that amount of money is just absurd. Like, how could you forget that you made an extra $1 million on the deal? And they're being all hazy.
I almost picked up my bass to show everyone, like,
this is your prized possession.
It kind of is, because I never bought a house. Your house?
That's my other scenario.
Okay.
If your house was burning down, what would you take out of it? 3 items.
Not the base, because do I have insurance for that? Like
it's covered.
Is renter's insurance covered?
Can I read my contract really quickly? I need to.
Well, I'm debating right now. I'm thinking of it ahead of time. I probably grab my PC because
that video card is super valuable.
Listen, I'm getting a power supply. We'll see if that solves everything.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, well, I'll be looking at 1080s, folks.
Worthless.
If you want to donate a 1080 Ti to the Unpanders, please send it to this area, not that area. 3.
Your child is crying, and you're like,
hold on. Let me look at the I whip open the papers. I'm going to page 5. I'm like, quiet. Wait, does my kid not walk? I mean, he can walk.
I guess he could get out of a burning building himself.
I will save him. Jesus Christ. I have to save him.
1 of 3 marked off. 2 of 3, probably computer.
Yeah, and the third one might be the base. I mean, because what else is worth that much?
Yeah. All your podcast notes.
I wouldn't, actually. Do you think that's sad?
They could be worth a lot in the future.
But this is worth a lot now, and my son's worth a lot now, and the PC is what I use to make the podcast.
I guess I will allow that.
I could reverse make these notes, folks. I'd have to watch all the episodes carefully and look with my eyes diverted away from the paper. When I was like, what I noticed about prison reform is that in 1983, you know what I mean? Like I can recreate notes. Do you want to hear something really funny?
Go ahead.
I have a list of notes from the first day we did a podcast.
Oh yeah? Did you note anything about me?
Hold on.
Fun.
Number 1, keep anonymous. 2, no phones, TV. I don't know why we were going to watch TV during the podcast. 3, paranoid conspiracy. And, the number $400
on the back.
$400.
That's for licking a butthole, I think.
Dog's butthole, yeah. And fake information about us to throw everyone off our trail.
Yeah, I think we stopped caring about that around episode 20.
Episode 12. Well, folks, we're millionaires. You're not. So thank you for listening to Job.
Career.
And Career. We didn't even get into 19 billion things we could have, but I guess that's how this works.
I just wanted to say one more thing.
Please do.
So these entrepreneurs, they
please do.
They get.
Please.
I got a piss too. I understand.
I know. That's what I was feeling. I knew you could feel it.
So the entrepreneurs,
our bladders touch.
Their focus is not money. Like most of the people, they have a drive and they focus on doing something. They create something or they do something and they like it enough to drive to get it done.
And then, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and some of the guys that started something, a lot of the times, like the Tony Tsai guy, he started Link Exchange and then he brought in people that just corrupted the company and he sold it because of that reason. But no one knew that at the time. So like a lot of times your baby gets a little bit, a little bit questionable, and then you have to get rid of it, like the reeks. So
Leonidas.
Yeah. So a lot of these guys, they sell off a company and then they're doing something on a beach 3 months later and they're like, man, this beach stuff is boring. So they're driven just to go back and do the same thing, start over again. And that's how they work. It's not like you get to a certain amount of money. What's interesting then is
that people think I will work so hard, make so much money and retire on a beach. You're kind of fooling yourself because if you work so hard for 13 to 40 to 20 years, you're inclined to work so hard. So how can you relax on a beach for 8 weeks straight? You can't.
You can't.
If you made all that money through working, you will continue to work even if you made the money. If you're lazy and you didn't make money, you will continue to be lazy. Like it's just a person is a person.
Yeah. And the time they put into something is what they become. That's their personality. So they can't change it.
Ultimately,
10 years of working that way.
The Panders has discovered that literally you become your most important commodity, which is time.
Yeah.
You spend it doing X, Y, Z, leisure, guitar. I mean, if you're really good looking and you do a podcast and you play bass and it's an expensive bass, like that's who you are.
Yeah. And if you're happy doing it, just keep doing it. You're going to make yourself happy regardless.
No, I'm applying for a real job.
Oh, so you're not happy.
No, I'm happy. I just need the real job. Benefits. We didn't get into health insurance, 401k, all that stuff. I don't have any of that.
Future episode, retirement.
Jeez. I don't know if I'll be around by then. I might be dead. We'll see.
Yeah. Another episode. In a future episode. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, gang. To recap, we discussed everything about jobs and careers.
Yeah, what we did in high school, what we did in college, minimum wage.
Is that a good recap?
Percentiles of income, households.
Is that a good recap?
I think so.
Is that a good recap? That's a good recap.
Corporate
folks,
shills.
We did it again. We just have this ultimate recap where you guys were like, they recapped everything. And I know you've been watching and paying attention, and we have to go to the bathroom. Go to the...
I'm just going to keep streaming right now. Keep streaming on the
web. We'll be streaming, folks. Check out our socials. Check out our socials. Check out our socials.
We're good.
And while you're doing that, check out our socials.
And the website.
And our website. Panders.com.
We do like it, though.
We don't pander. Thanks, folks.